everyone, this is Gayle, and I'm back with another Valentine wreath idea. This is the Dollar Tree wreath form. If your Dollar Tree doesn't have them yet, keep looking because they come out right about Valentine's time. This one I had left over from last week. You're going to need some red and some white mesh. And you should have a way to cut your mesh. Now, I have a new toy, and do I love this. This is a, I think it's an impulse bag sealer, and I think it's called an impulse. This one happens to be a brand Run Rui plastic film sealer. They're awesome, but if you make a lot of wreaths, or if you think about making a lot of wreaths and you have to use mesh, I've avoided using regular mesh because it ravels so badly, it frays. But this heat seals the ends. Now you can use a rotary cutter, you can use a wood burner. There are different things you can do to cut your mesh, but this has so far been the best I have ever tried. I've already cut this red mesh, and I cut the whole roll in about 15 minutes. So that's how good it is. So what I've done is I have set this on I've got it set right on number 1, even though it's probably going to be 1.5. Let me set it on 1.5. Because this right here is the sealing place. And if I want to come out to 10 inches, I want it to seal here. So let me just show you how this works. Of course, that didn't last long. I knew I'd knock it down. This is not my regular place where I work on my wreaths. But it happens to be where my camera is set up. So I'm going to do my cutting over at the other table. But I just wanted you to see this. I move this over to the 10-inch mark. I put something over it. This is plugged in, and you just press. And there's a little red light that comes on right here, and it cuts off. And because I haven't been using this, I'll probably have to do it a couple of times. After you've done 2 or 3 pieces of this, it usually, cuts it in 2 tries. Let me try one more time just to be safe. And the reason I'm doing that is this does have the little metallic fibers through it, and those take a little bit longer to cut. Now it still needs one more time. I'll go at 2 for good measure. I'm just going to hold it down, and I'm going to give this a pull. And see how it comes off? And these ends, even though it doesn't show, I'm sure you can't see, but they're slightly melted, which means they won't fray anywhere near as much as on any other method that I've tried. So if you've tried these and you like them or don't like them, make a comment below so I'll know what your opinion is. But so far, this is the first time I've used this, and I really like it. See, that only took twice, but you can see how I'm pulling it apart. It's melted in the middle. I just think that's awesome. And I just put them inside the other. And if I weren't talking, I could have gone a lot faster, but you know how it is when you get to talking. So this should be about 10 inches because I've sent it over to 10 inches and it comes up a little bit. Might be just slightly more than 10 inches. All right, now I didn't wait long enough on this one, and I did pull one of the metallic strings. Let me cut it on the other side so it doesn't pull out. So you do have to be careful. I should have gone the third time, and I was just trying. I guess I was showing off is what I was doing. Because I'm so excited about this. So I'm going to press it 3 times, only because of this metal, or I guess this is a plastic film stripe that's in it. Like a cellophane, but it's evidently taken it a little bit more heat to cut that. As you can see, once you get started, if you just keep on going, you can get a lot done. This works on the same principle. I don't know if any of you have the vacuum sealers, but you know how if you have a vacuum sealer machine, it sucks all the air out and then it heats for a couple of seconds. Well, this is that same technology, and it's made to seal plastic bags or any kind of plastic film. But it also cuts, and it's not hot. It's slightly warm, but it's not real hot, so you don't burn yourself. Like, I've been using a wood burner, and not only can I not see it very well, because you're supposed to trim in between these little strings, but I can't see, and in order to get it done, it takes me forever, and then I still end up with some fraying. The reason I have to lift up, this is on an automatic timer, and I do have this set on the hottest setting. But like I said, it's thinking plastic bags or plastic, you know, film of some kind. And I am doing mesh. But anyway, it only heats for just a few seconds, and then you have to kind of reset it by lifting up the handle a little bit. And after you get in, like I said, get on a roll, see how easy this is getting and how quick I'm doing it? I love this thing. I'm going to put it in my Amazon store, hopefully before I publish the video. So if you're interested in something like this, check out my Amazon store. This happens, see, that's down to where I can do it in 2. I'm just not paying attention because I'm talking. But you can see how fast you can cut a roll of mesh. Let's see if 2 times will do it this time. Yep. It does, as it melts, it does stick to the top of this bar up here, and you have to stop every once in a while and scrape that off. But it's still easier to me than a wood burner. Wood burners I'm pretty good with. I have burned myself with it a couple of times. But I worry about them being left on by mistake, and then they sit there. I don't think I reset that one. They sit there. I need to roll some of these. And you don't know if, you know, like for me, I have to have a extension cord over to the table where I work. And I worry about the extension cord getting hung up on things with the wood burner on. Or if I need to jump up, if I need to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water or something. And I worry about it. And with this, I don't have to worry because there's no heating element exposed to anything. Let me just roll all these in a roll. I turned the camera back on because I'm getting close to the end of the roll. And I just wanted you to see how that works at the end of the roll. So far, it's doing pretty good. One thing I have noticed, it probably would be a good idea to tape this machine in place because I'm finding that it slides over on my cutting mat. Oh, and just like I just did, I know you can't see it from there, but the very last string didn't get on the heating element, so I'm going to have to cut that with a scissor. But I think it's just something you have to get used to. But I love the way that it's not fraying. I mean, there's a little bit of fraying, and I don't think there's a way, any possible way that you can use mesh and there not be a little bit. But this is the least amount of fraying that I have ever had. Like I said, I usually don't use mesh. I usually use like the poly burlap or something like that because it just doesn't fray as well, as much. So I'm liking this. Let me move this back so it's under the heating element. But I'm getting really close to the end of the roll. And if it weren't for these little cellophane stripes in it, I probably would have been able to only have pressed this one time instead of 2 or 3. I think while I was talking, I waited too long. There we go. No, still. There we go. But see, this is all I've got left. I'm down to like the very end of the roll. So it's working really well and really fast. And I've only been in here. I didn't look to see what time I paused the camera. But it couldn't have been more than 10 minutes. It just moves so fast. Now's where it's going to start getting a little tricky. But I usually have it so that it rolls down. So when you put it down, you know, it rolls downwards, which seems to make it a little bit easier to handle. I haven't been wrapping these since I've been talking. Let me just cut that with a scissor rather than do this again. But I think I really like my new toy. And this will be the last one. You can see I'm all the way down at the end. Let me see if I can get this over to the 10-inch mark. It's so tight, wound so tight the other way, if I just lift up on my ruler at all, it just slides right on out. There. And this will be the last one because all I have is about 4 inches left at the end and then the spool. So in less than 15 minutes, I have cut a whole roll of this deco mesh. I probably shouldn't have pulled that because now I've got all these strings, but I can cut those off. But there you go. So let me clear this out. Let me show you. You see it sticks to the top. Let me turn this off. And I don't know how far this opens. But this part is Teflon, and this wipes off pretty quickly. I think my wet wipe is over here on the other side. It's a baby wipe. And I will just wipe this with the baby wipe because this is like a Teflon coating. This one came with an extra one. Where the problem is this one up here. And what I ended up doing with the red was I keep all of my old gift cards and credit cards and things because they come in really handy for things. Let's see if I can find one. There's one. There's an old Amazon gift card. I just took this and just rubbed across it. I've seen people use scissors, which would kind of scare me because this is just plastic, and I would think if you scratched it, it wouldn't seal quite as well. I don't think the wet is going to do much good because this is plastic that's kind of melted on there. It's a little bit of work, but it's doable. It's still worth it to me. I'll spend less time cleaning this than I would have if I had cut it the other way. I wouldn't have had any cleaning, but I'd be cutting for about 10, 15, well maybe even more than that. It takes me forever to cut mesh with a wood burner. So there's just a little bit right here. I'll get that off later. I probably ought to unplug this when I'm doing this. Be safe. So let me go gather the rest of my things that are over on the other desk, and then I'll be back and we'll put this wreath together. Okay, so now I have my wreath form. I have some zip ties, and I don't even know what number they are. They're very small. They're skinny, but they're strong, and they hold really well. I've got a couple of clips that I use to help me when I'm making these petals, and some snips that I use to cut the zip ties after I put them on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one piece of the white and one piece of the red. And I think let me just set this aside for a minute. I'm going to take it to where it's a diamond shape. Fold it into a triangle. Try to get it pretty much straight. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then you kind of eyeball the middle and you just scrunch up towards the middle. And when you look at this now, you have a folded side and you have the raw side. So what I do is I take these and I fold it to the side so that both folded edges are on top. And then I just take a clip. Again, these are Dollar Tree clips to hold it. I do the same thing with the white. Put the white corner to corner. Scrunch it from the middle to the point. Turn it sideways so that the folded part is facing up. You might have to manipulate it a little bit, but if it's this way, if it frays, it's going to fray on the back. Then take my red, and I'm going to put this on top of the red. But I'm going to put them together. And I'm going to start here on this bar here. I'm going to maybe I'll do it this way. Maybe I'll wrap the white around it this way, because the white was sticking out further than the red. I'll do it that way. See, I've got the white on the outside instead of side by side on top of each other. I'm going to take a zip tie. I'm going to go in at this crossbar right here on the center bar. And pull it tight, and then snip off the tail. And there's one petal. So let's do it again. Take a white. Doesn't matter which order, as long as you got your clips. You're going to stick it in a clip anyway. And scrunch up from the middle. Fold it sideways, like sort of like a book. Squeeze this and put a clip on it. And do the same thing with the red. And I always do this with the curl side coming up. Let's see, I see this string is loose. I'm trying to think of the best way to do this so that that string won't show. We'll see if this works. Fold it diagonally, scrunch up from the middle, fold it sideways, and take the white, put it on the outside, make sure it's the way you want it before you put it on here. And I'm going to put this right next to that one. Except this won't be on a crossbar. This will just be on this center bar of your wreath form. I lost my zip tie trying to do this. I'm going to straighten it. So let me just do this. Get it good and tight and snip off the tail. And as you do this, you might want to make sure that your petals are laying the way you want them to lay. And you just do this all the way around. And when you get up here to this, well, let me go ahead and do one. I'll just put it there. What I like to do is just do the crossbars and then fill in. And that way it's easier to keep track of how many petals you need to make. Right now I don't know, because this is the first time I've done this wreath. Now if you see here, can you see where it's kind of raggy looking along here? It's where it melted. I'm just going to get a pair of scissors and cut off the fuzzy part. Anyway, start in the middle, scrunch, excuse me, and fold like the pages of a book. And when I'm not on camera, I usually just stick those in between my fingers. But I didn't want to overwhelm you too much on our first wreath, or our first wreath like this anyway. And you can look and see, make sure your points are about the same size. Whoops. Don't lose your pinch like I almost did right there. Wrap the white around it, pinch it. And I'm going to put this one on this crossbar. And I'm going to go across. And you see how I'm going across? I'm going across this way. And that's going to hold this in place. The others you'll be able to move around, but this will hold these in place. Just pull it tight. There you go. And then I'll fill in, I'll probably put 2 more in here. So I'm going to turn the camera off. Matter of fact, it's getting close to my dinner time, so I'm probably going to stop for the night. And tomorrow morning I will finish putting my petals on, and then I'll come back and maybe show you how to do the points, the top and the bottom, so that they still look like a heart. And I will see you then. Okay, I decided to jump back in for just a minute. I did finish this one section, and I was looking at it, trying to decide what I wanted to do with it. And what I want to do is going to require that I fill this area in with something solid or something that... And so what I do is I buy this plastic mesh, this plastic canvas, and I use this a lot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my heart on here, and I'm going to take a Sharpie, and I'm going to try to not get that dirty, but I'm going to try to, just the outside of this center heart. Just trace it. And I'm being careful not to get my mesh covered in Sharpie. This one's going, let me push this to the side. Should have done this before, but I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And I've had an epiphany. Okay, so there's my heart, and I'm not going to use my good scissors. My son bought me some really good scissors, but they're still over there under the tree. It's really good for stuff like this. But I'm just going to cut just along the outside of this line so that it's something that I can attach to the back of this frame. Sounds like my dog is getting in trouble. But I do this on my flower wreaths, and I don't know why I didn't think about it on this one, but I'm going to need the space in the center to do what I want to do. So I really need to get this in there before I go any further. And this, again, doesn't have to be real pretty. But I'll put this on the back. And I'll attach it with zip ties. So I think I will start here at the point, since that's probably going to be the hardest one to get to. And I just go in one hole and out the other. It doesn't need to have much. You may not want to make these real tight until you get it done on all sides. And then I'll come over here. The important thing is just to get it attached to the wire. Okay, I think that's going to work okay, so I'll tighten these two and cut this off. If you can, push that to the outside, because if someone hangs this on their door, you don't want these zip ties to scratch their door, or they'll never buy any from you again. Another way to do that would be to do it from the inside, wouldn't it? So I'm not going to do a lot. I'm just going to maybe put one across here. This way the little nub is going to be on the inside. I may replace those other two off camera. And I don't know if anybody has ever shown you how to do a zip tie. Let me zoom in a little bit. But if you look at this zip tie, see there's a flat side that's level here with the zip, and then there's a part that stands out. What you need to do is to put this in so that your little other end goes in that flat side. Let me find it. Goes in the flat side, because otherwise there'll be no teeth for it to grab hold of. So just something that I had to learn on my own. I thought maybe it might save somebody some frustration trying to figure out how to do a zip tie. Once you learn, it's like, you know, it's just so simple. But it can be very frustrating if you're just starting out. See, I'll put one here. And then after I do this, I'll just go on and finish doing the petals. Sorry for the silence, and I do have my TV on. I forgot to turn that down. It's in another room, but it's all open. This is like, used to be my living room. Now it's my craft room. And the TV is in the family room. So let me just put one more on, and then I'll show, well, I won't even need to do that. But see, this shows you, it gives you a solid center. Let me come back out. Gives you a solid center that you can either put petals on, which is what I'm going to do, or glue things to, which is something else I'm going to do. But I'll show you all that later. But anyway, I'm going to stop for tonight after I put these few more zip ties on to hold the middle on, and I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, I've gotten finished. I went ahead and did the bottom, but I've left the top so I can show you. I put everything in except for 3. And I already pre-made them because I was afraid I was getting short on petals, but I ended up having just enough. So I'm going to put this one here in the middle. And you see, this does come down some. So if you put it right in that, well, actually, I think I'm going to put it right here. This is one of the good things about having this mesh. I think I'm going to put this bottom one, this one that goes down in the crease, in the mesh. I'm going to just try to semi-hold it since this is already made. And I'm going to put this one down here, and this is so it will come in here at the top. I know you can't see this. I can't get the camera up any higher. But this will, right there. So this petal here is a little bit shorter than the others. It's a little bit of frizz right there from the heat where it melted. But I don't know if you can see, but this brings it in. And then I also have a spot on either side that needs a petal. So, like I say, I've got my petals pre-made because I needed to make sure I had enough. I thought, wouldn't that be awful if I have to redo the whole video because I'm using different mesh. Just trimming up a little piece there. And this one is going to go right here. On that middle wire. I've had people ask why you use the middle wire and not this outside wire, and it's because your petal needs something to rest against, or else they would just spin all over the place. This way, they rest against that other wire. So I got that one in, and I'll put one on the other side. That's why I like these clips, these bag clips. They're Dollar Tree clips. And I think you get 6 in a bag for $1, or I guess now it's $1.25. Everything is going up. I also like to, when I put petals down, I like to kind of go in with my fingers and kind of separate the two. The one on each side. And I also do it at the end when I'm finished. I go in and I make sure that all of these petals are separated and not stuck on each other. And after I put this in, that's exactly what I'll do. Okay. See, I just put this in, so I'll go in and I'll just pull it out. I'll go to the one next to it, just wrap my fingers around it and come out. See, like this one is up underneath. This way all your petals will be out, facing the way they need to face. I've already done the bottom, that's why it didn't look like it needed it. So here we are. Now, this is where the fun part starts. I also have, I've got to pick a center. I also have this Dollar Tree Valentine decor from last year. That's 4 hearts. And I think I want to use this heart. There's a red one, sort of a pinkish with a red. There's one that says welcome. There's a pink with red sparkles, and that one just the XOs. But I think I want this one because of the white that's on it. So I'm just going to cut these ribbons. And get these out of the way. I wish I was over on my wreath desk because I have a lot more room to work. I don't know if this will come off or not. Yeah, it did. It came off. So I don't have to worry about any scraggles. But I thought I would put that here in the middle. But first, yeah, okay. First, I'm going to take these foam roses. Now these I got on Amazon, but you can buy them at Dollar Tree when the Valentine's things come out. Oh, I didn't turn on my glue gun, so it'll have to be just a second. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these roses. I'm going to start up here to cover up the top, you know, the bottom of these petals. Then I'll put another row in here, and then that heart should sit right on the front, on top of it. And I will just hot glue those in. This would be a good time to go around while you're waiting for your heat gun, your glue gun to heat up. Now would be a good time to go around and check your ends. See if you see any fuzzies or anything that needs to be trimmed off. And I just take a pair of scissors and just go like this. Now we put all the bad stuff on the bottom. So all this is going to be easy to see from underneath. And you might find a few little scraggles on the tips, but not as many as if you had cut this with scissors or whatever. And that's going to do it for right now. I'm going to remove this because I don't want to use hot glue on this. But this is one reason that I like using this mesh, because the hot glue is going to help me with the roses. Now I don't know how long it's going to take for this to heat up. But this is the heat gun I use. It's a cordless, and it comes on a base that is plugged in. So you get plugged in here, the cord, and it has the little place for drips and everything, and it's really nice. And the thing I like about it is you can set your gun on it when you're not using it, and when you're ready to use it, this will continue to heat for 2 minutes. So let me just see if any of this glue heated. Oh, it did. Just put a, sorry, my camera, I'm not sitting close because of the wreath, but I'm going to take that and just set it right there on the bottom, because that's the place I know I need to get covered up. You can also make sure your petals are evenly spaced. And I'm just going to continue to do this all the way around. And just put them close enough together that they cover up the bottom of your petals. Sorry, I saw a couple strings. I just had to get them while I was looking at them. So we just keep going. And just, you notice I put a big glob of glue because it's got to go down and stick to these petals. And some of them, like if it were here, it would be a little bit farther apart. So you need to have a big glob on there so it will stick to something. But I love these foam roses. They look much nicer to me than the silk roses. I just think they're kind of natural looking without being natural looking. It's hard to explain. But I also use the Gorilla Glue Stick, and it is the best glue. And when you get it stuck on there, it's not going anywhere. You want to make sure you've gone through and combed your, that's what I call it when I go through it like this, that you've combed your petals before you start gluing, because after you glue, you don't want to mess with it. And just continue all the way around. Now I may fast forward this so you don't have to watch me glue. It's like watching glue dry, isn't it? So I'm going to fast forward until I get to the end, and then we'll go to the next row. Got all these roses on, and this is making such a deep dent. I figured I would put some styrofoam in here. This is styrofoam I get at the Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of 2, and I'm going to take these and cut them in half. Let me go get my, oh no, I can't, I don't want to do that. I don't know where my cutter is. It's probably over at my other table. So let me see if I can find an X-Acto knife. Let me just set this aside for a minute. While I'm doing this, I wanted to tell you about the roses. You can get them during Valentine's Day and sometimes afterwards at the Dollar Tree, and they come in a pack of 6. But my Dollar Tree hardly ever has enough. Like I made another wreath, which I'll show you at the end of this video. I needed a lot, so I ordered from Amazon a big bag of these foam roses. And it was a bag of 100. All right, now let's see what adjustments I need to make. that'll fit up in there. I just need something to bring these roses up. And that will fit up in here. And I think I need... I'm going to glue all this in once I get it cut to... I just need a base for these roses to sit on. And then well, this might work over here. I might have gotten lucky here. There. Now you can do this two ways. Now where's the top to my X-Acto knife? I picked it up. It's probably in my wreath somewhere. I'm going to just set this aside somewhere where I won't get cut, because that one's pretty sharp. It's pretty new. Okay, so let me just do these one at a time. Now let's put a little, I'm not going to put a lot, just enough to hold it, because it's going to seep through that plastic mesh. You just don't want this sliding around is the only reason I'm doing this way. And this will probably stick to my glass work surface because it's going to seep through that plastic canvas. That's why I'm trying not to put too much. I just need enough to hold it still. There, so now I have a base to put my roses on so they won't, got a piece of styrofoam, won't sink down in the middle. And yep, I'm right, they're stuck, it's stuck to my work surface. So let me get under there and get it loose before I do any more. Okay, it was only one place that was really stuck, but it just took me, it was right in the center and I had a hard time getting to it. So now I'm going to go back to attaching the roses. This is just good fun time for me. Just wish I was at my other work station that has more room, but that's okay. Just pulling off glue strings. One thing about hot glue, it's hard to keep from getting little strings of glue. Whoops. Make sure when you put these on that you're covering up these little holes. I almost didn't cover up. Let's see if this is stuck good yet. Nope. Let me push that up a little bit further. These are the two bottom petals, so let me just push that up a little bit more so we can cover up the ends of those petals. And just keep on going. So again, I will fast forward through this part. Sorry, I had my camera turned off when I did this. I forgot to turn it back on. I filled in the entire space because when I put this on top, it just didn't do right. Let's see if some of these others would look better. The red is just a different kind of red. Kind of like the pink one better. I'm going to stand up so my voice will probably get pretty loud because my head will be right up next to the camera. And I'm just going to put a generous amount of hot glue. Sorry, I didn't want it to drip on the roses. And set it where I want it, which is about right there. And just hold it. And I think that would be much better. Actually, the other pink one would even look better because it's got white dots instead of the red dots. Wonder if this is dried yet. Oh, it's too stuck. I'm not going to be able to take it off. But there you go. I got a little hot glue on here, which I can pick off as soon as it gets set totally. But I'm trying to hold it up to see, make sure everything is covered up. I know there's no way you can see the whole thing here with my camera the way it's positioned. I usually use my camera for paper crafting and clay and stuff like that and not making wreaths, so it's not really set up. But I'll take a picture of this and put it at the end of the video. But I hope you like it. Let me show you the other Valentine wreath I made. This is also with the foam roses, and it's just the foam roses. I did have felt on the back for the roses to stick to, and I have a little hanger here to hang it. But I really enjoy using these roses. I'll probably use other colors for other seasons, but I just really enjoyed it. So I hope you like this. Make yourself a Valentine wreath. So come back soon to Gayle's Crafty Closet, and we will do another craft. It could be anything. Like I say, it could be paper crafts. It could be another wreath. It could be vinyl. It could be just about anything. So come back soon. Bye-bye.